You are looking live at the Let's Not Do This podcast on Wednesday, August the 28th, year of our Lord 2024. You got the big O, Leon Oliver, alongside one of the unwise men sitting to my right, one Scotty Too Hottie with that very disturbing character of himself that we discussed last week in the background behind him. How are you, sir? And I believe that you have somehow successfully muted yourself.
I'm getting feedback.
There we go. Well, you know what? It's not coming through on my end. I don't think it's coming through on the people's end. So I think we'll be okay there. We'll soldier on. All right. So yeah, Dan LeMan this evening. Chris not with us here. He's finally getting some treatment for some rashes that he had. Lots of ointment involved. So Godspeed go with him. I don't know what clinics are open right now at 6:45 on a Wednesday night, but who am I to judge? And whether that's happening in the back of an El Camino or not, who's to say? All I know is his insurance covers it, and it doesn't cover much. So go with God, Christopher. But Scotty, how are you, sir?
Good. I figured it out. I'm stupid. I had our YouTube channel up on my browser, so it was like delayed 5 seconds. So I was hearing you twice, which is more than anybody needs to hear you.
Oh, that's very true. And we're almost at Oktoberfest, so I have the very festive Oktoberfest mug here. So prost to you. As I drink Polliner out of a Weihenstephaner mug. So I got that going for me. But yeah, so we are going to have a little bit of a shorter show this evening, a Wednesday. We moved schedule this week because NC State, my beloved Wolfpack, play tomorrow. So there was no chance I was missing that as they take on the mighty Catamounts of Western Carolina. And then there's also a lot of other college football as well. So we'll get into some picks for tomorrow, and then we'll have some more information on picks and something special coming for you guys coming up a little bit later on in the show. Scotty, before we were going on here, this was unplanned, but you said you had pizza from Wawa.
I wish I would have told you that now. Yeah, the personal pizza, only like $6 or $7. It's not the best pizza you've ever had, but for Wawa, it's wasn't bad. I was surprised.
Now, my dear bride, and while I love her so, saw a promo code online for a very cheap pizza and sticks combo from Little Caesars. I am not one to frequent the Little Caesars, Scotty. So if my betrothed does want something, I will try my best to procure it. So I did get the Little Caesars pizza and sticks combo for her. I did have one slice of this pizza, and it was like eating cardboard. It maybe had like some marinara sauce from 6 years ago, like sprayed on that. It was abysmal. Hey, they gave us sticks and no marinara sauce for the sticks. How do you give someone breadsticks or cheese sticks, whatever they were, and no marinara sauce?
When you make like $7 an hour.
Yes. You know what's funny? I actually explained that to her. I was like, no, there's a saying that, if you pay X amount of dollars an hour, you get X amount of dollars an hour effort. And that was the embodiment of that at the Little Caesars this afternoon. Also, if you ever go into a shopping center that has a Little Caesars, it is like a place that God forgot. It really is. Like, you look at the vehicles, you look at the people, you look at just it. It's like if Eritrea made pizza. That's what Little Caesars is in terms of like food.
So you'll never guess who I ran into. This was a few years ago when I was living with Steve, and we went to I think he had to go to the Comcast store maybe, and it's beside a Little Caesars. And I hear somebody call my name. I look over and it's Chris at the Little Caesars.
Yep. That sounds
the last time I had Little Caesars was DoorDash accidentally delivered it to my house.
Wait,
and so I was like,
8 stolen Little Caesars?
What was I supposed to do? It was already left on my porch. They can't come pick it back up.
You toss it out back for the neighborhood cats and say, go with God, cat. Like that's because that's all that's going to eat it. I don't know.
But I looked for a name or address on the ticket to see if I could contact whoever it was supposed to go to because I'm sure it's probably a different road in the neighborhood. But yeah, nothing. So all right, well, I guess I can't let it go to waste. It was not good.
Well, something else that wasn't good was Florida State's performance Saturday in beautiful Dublin, Ireland, taking on Georgia Tech. Of course, some of those get upset on Saturday in the first college football game of the season. Scotty, before we even get into the game, and I know it's been a little bit, it was on Saturday, but this is our first chance to talk about it. Did you watch any of the lead up to that, any of like College Game Day or Pat McAfee broadcasting his show live from there?
No, actually, I usually do tune in to the game day. That's one of the few pregame shows I actually watch. But yeah, for some reason, I just didn't like. Maybe because it's week 0, I forgot about it.
Yeah,
but yeah, I didn't see any of it. I saw some clips of how he was like wasted, which is pretty funny.
Old Pat was messed up, and AJ Hawk, never says much on that show, but even he had a face like, "Are we going to lose our jobs?" And he's shirtless in the bar pouring beers. I guess the alcohol laws are different over there. You had Sheamus of WWE fame there pouring beers. It was goddamn ridiculous. It was a shit show of the highest caliber, but it was interesting to say the least.
So I did see the very end when they were picking the game because Sheamus was the only one that picked Georgia Tech. I did see that. That's all I saw.
Yes, this was on game day on Saturday, but Friday on his actual show, they did the show from a pub in Dublin. And that's where all the shenanigans were going on. It was something. And it's only going to get worse this week because you know where game day is this week, Scotty?
I don't know.
Morgantown, West Virginia.
Oh,
for Penn State at West Virginia. Now, these are two schools. These are two teams that are going to be pretty good. West Virginia could contend in the Big 12. Everyone could contend in the Big 12 this year. And, is it finally going to be James Franklin's year at Penn State? Will they finally get a big win, especially on the road? Who knows? But that's going to be a zoo. Pat's doing his show from there tomorrow in Morgantown. I've already seen where Morgantown has closed school tomorrow. I kid you not. They said it was in preparation for the holiday. Not tomorrow, Friday, excuse me.
Okay.
I'm so used to our show being on Thursday, but they've closed school on Friday in Morgantown. I don't know if that town sort of survives Pat McAfee coming back on the West Virginia Penn State game. But I'm sure the Florida State fans wish they were there rather than Dublin as they got upset by Georgia Tech. Let's just dive into this one here. Double-digit point favorites. What was it, like 13.5? I think it was the Noles closed.
I think that's where it opened. I think it closed around 10.
Okay.
10 or 11, depending on
around
what book you had.
Of course, they go down 24-21 to Georgia Tech. Scotty, this game was interesting. Like, one thing that was evident, and I wish I had the clip, but Brent Key, Georgia Tech's head coach, at the end of the game, was like, run the ball, which I love. Like, Georgia Tech felt like a program that didn't have identity. And I felt like they have their identity under Pry. Going back to when he took over last year as an interim and through now, he's got 5 ranked wins in the ACC. And you look at what they're doing, they're essentially running Paul Johnson's offense without a shotgun. They're just running the flex bone. They're just running the option, but they're running it out of the gun and spread out. That's what they're doing. They won the war up front. Everyone said Florida State had this monster defensive line, one of the best in the country. The Jackets offensive line had them on skates. That's the thing that really stood out to me. Any big takeaways you had from this game?
Yeah, so I actually bet Georgia Tech plus 11.5. Even though all 3 of us lost on our parlay last week, our one pick.
Yeah.
But so I thought it was going to be a close game. I'm not going to say I thought Georgia Tech was going to win, but like you said, they just kind of beat them up at the line of scrimmage. They just came in. I think maybe Florida State kind of thought they were just going to show up as a top 10 team and win the game. You can't do that. And Georgia Tech plays them tough anyways. It seems like over the last, I think they covered a spread 8 of the last 9.
Yeah.
So they play them close anyways. My big takeaway from it was, I don't know what Mike Norvell was doing out there. I know everybody's shitting on DJ Uagalele. Is that how you say it?
Just say
DJU?
DJU. DJU.
DJU. And I'm not saying he's a great quarterback or even a good quarterback, but when they actually let him throw like a regular pass from the pocket, set his feet, it wasn't terrible. They were moving the ball. He had some big fourth down conversions on that last score they had that kind of brought him back until the defense fell apart at the end. So I know you see the memes and everything about DJU, and I get it. It's low hanging fruit, but I think I was telling y'all in the group chat, like, I don't know what Norvell was doing. It's run, third and long pass. And then on that last drive, he even ran it on 3rd and 9, and they had to complete a fourth down conversion. And just like, you can blame DJU all you want, but I think Norvell is more to blame on this. I didn't understand what he was doing. Let the guy throw the ball. You brought him in for a reason.
Definitely some questionable play calling there. And I forget who it was. I mean, I've consumed so much on this game since then, but one of the national pundits said, hey, if Florida State makes the playoff last year, DJ is probably not in Tallahassee right now. They felt like he was the Band-Aid to try to hold things over. And you can see that you can't blame it all on him. He certainly gets a good share of the blame, but you're right. The play calling was suspect. They just looked like they didn't want it as much. And Georgia Tech kind of lined up and loaded up the box and said, okay, we're going to make you beat us. And we saw, DJ did check down a lot. We did see him connect with some deeper passes, but for the most part, they were saying, hey, you got this quarterback, go out here and beat us. And they didn't do it. What was it? I think he had the stat that was going viral at halftime was like it's like a negative half yard per pass attempt or something like that. It was something crazy.
Yeah.
And I really thought Roydell, the running back from Bama that transferred in, was going to have a good game. They stuffed them. I mean, Georgia Tech controlled both lines, and they just looked physical. And Haynes King out there a little nicked up already. I mean, he just was tough. He put that team literally on his back for Georgia Tech and made big plays. And if you're Florida State, you got Boston College coming up now, and Thomas Castellanos, who is another mobile quarterback. You saw Haynes King give you trouble running. It's going to put a little question maybe in the Florida State going into this week.
Yeah, it's either going to make them wake up and roll over Boston College, or it's going to go the other way and their confidence is going to be shot, and who knows, they could get upset again.
The good thing
is it's in Tallahassee, right? Is that what you said?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe not a win, but maybe it's another one possession game.
Maybe they go reverse Northwestern. Remember a couple of years ago, Northwestern beat Nebraska in Ireland and then didn't win a game on American soil. Maybe this is Florida State's only loss. It doesn't count if it's in Europe. It doesn't count, The good thing is they're not dead in the water. This was 99 or 2000 with the BCS. Their season's already over. But, hey, this is the first year. The expanded 12-team college football playoff. You just got to get one of those spots, an at-large spot. I mean, who knows how things are going to shake down the ACC. You're still alive. It's only one loss in that race. Your season's not over. Whereas, 20 years ago, this season's over. You have nothing to play for now other than, beating your rivals and trying to go to the best bowl that you can.
Yeah, I mean, it was not a good week, even though there was only 2 ACC teams that played, or 3, I guess, counting Georgia Tech. But them and Florida State and SMU was not a good look for the ACC.
No, not. By the way, I love that the ACC put out weekly honors. Like really, you had 3 teams that were in action. 2 of them played each other, and you're putting out Player of the Week and Coach of the Week, and like, come on. Really?
That's why in the college game I always schedule a week 0 game because I know I'm going to get a Player of the Week honors.
There we go. Smart scheduling there, Scotty. So, all right, well, moving on from that one. And you're right, real quick, SMU. I didn't watch a ton of that game. I actually had way too many old fashions and fell asleep and had to get up and watch it the next day. But, yeah, that vaunted SMU offense, good old the quarterback Stone did not look like he did last year, and they were definitely struggling there. I mean, they had to pull a rabbit out of the hat late in the fourth quarter to come back and pull that one off against Nevada. So I did see someone online say, did the ACC purchase the extended warranty on SMU? because there were definitely some trouble signs there in week 0.
Yeah, I was actually on them minus 25. And as soon as I turned the game on, the commentators were like, well, we were supposed to have perfect weather, but all of a sudden there's some torrential winds coming in. I'm like, well, there goes my bet. And then, yeah, it was sloppy. They're lucky they won. Nevada looked better than I thought they would. Some of them transfers, they have a nice mobile quarterback, but SMU was not on their game at all.
It's funny. That's the great thing about college football. You mentioned the transfers. No matter how bad you are, you can turn things around and quickly. It's kind of like college basketball, where if you're terrible one year, you get a guy or two, and next year's things are completely different. But now, you go into the portal, and if you're savvy in the portal, like Louisville's been, or Colorado, or Ole Miss, you get a bunch of guys in, you can change the culture. We saw what New Mexico did. They almost upset Montana State. Montana State was a double-digit FCS favorite going in there. And you mentioned the weird weather. I don't know what the hell that was. It was like a haboob or something, sandstorm, something went through there. And Bronco Mendenhall, God bless him, we all saw it at Virginia, special teams woes and stuff, decides to kick a 40-some-yard field goal in the goddamn sandstorm. I don't know.
Yeah, they totally choked that game. As soon as they, what was it, the kick returner, was it that game where the kick returner fair catched a kickoff, but then he dropped it?
Yeah,
and so when that happens, and then he got the ball, I think nailed it in the end zone. But once you drop it, it becomes live, so it became a safety, and that's how they lost. They had to kick the ball back, and then Montana scored. Montana State.
Montana State. Make sure to get that right. They will get very upset with you. Yeah. All right, well, moving on from that, we got week 1 games coming up. A couple games on Thursday, or actually a lot of games on Thursday and Friday. We're just going to pick one game here. Chris is not here, so we will hold his pick and give his a little bit later. I think you're going to pick a game for him. But I'll start with you, Scotty. You have your pick this week. Coach Prime and his boys, the Colorado Buffaloes, welcoming in New Mexico State to Folsom Field there. Colorado minus 10, and over under there is 60.5. Your thoughts on the Bison and the Buffalo, which, by the way, are two different animals. People think
I was about to ask you, what's the difference?
I forget the difference, but I know they are two different animals, Bison and Buffalo. But yeah, either way, I would eat them both. So the loser should have their mascot made into hamburger or steak or both, and I will eat both.
I like that. Or do one of them food bets.
Yeah, or you know what? Though you can't kill Ralphie. If North Dakota State wins, you can't kill Ralphie. I do love her. I don't want her to perish. I have fed bison before, though, Scotty. In Wyoming, I fed bison. Their tongues are like sandpaper, and I pecked them, and then I went out and had a bison burger like about an hour afterwards.
Nice.
Yes.
All right, but yeah, so I am not in on Colorado overall this year as a whole. I think they're going to look a lot like they did last year. But for this game, I think that they're going to cover the 10-point spread. I see them winning by at least 2 touchdowns. There's one thing that Deion has shown he can do as a coach. It's beat FCS talent. And I just think this will be the one game where they clearly have the better talent, the better athletes. And I think those are the type of games that Deion's going to run the score up. I think Colorado will come out for this game because I'm sure that there's a lot of people out there thinking that North Dakota State as one of the top FCS programs in the last several years. I'm sure a lot of people are picking them to pull the upset here. And I'm sure Colorado's heard that all season. But for this game only, I think Colorado's going to come out ready to play. They're going to run up the score. They're going to cover the spread. And then they'll fall apart after that.
It's funny. This money is pouring in hard right now on Colorado. I believe when this originally opened, it was like 6 or 7. I think it was 6.5, maybe 7, something like that. Colorado favorite, but now it's moved up to 10. This is on ESPN Bet where we're getting our lines from. I think some other books might be a little bit different. I got a feeling like Colorado's going to dust this team. I like North Dakota State is a really good FCS program. They're like the Alabama of FCS. But all empires have to fall. Look at the Turks, look at the Ottomans, look at the Romans, look at the Greeks. It all has to fall at some point. And we've seen South Dakota State kind of take that moniker from North Dakota State the last couple of years. In fact, the Jackrabbits, national champions again last year. Their coach, Matt Entz, left Fargo to go become linebacker coach at USC. You don't see that much. A guy leave a head coaching job to become a position coach.
Do you think he saw the writing on the wall?
Maybe. So I just feel like Colorado, with all the talent that they have, obviously having a bigger roster, they're at home. Colorado, I think is going to have their struggles in the Big 12 this year, but Coach Prime is going to have these guys ready for this game. I don't know if I like that over-under there, but I'm with you. I like Colorado to cover there, so I agree with you. So that probably means that you're fucked, right?
Yeah. Hopefully that money is sharp money and not public money.
And I feel like this is one of those games too. I mean, like Shedeur and Travis Hunter, both guys that are mentioned in the Heisman race and stuff. It's crazy that we're already talking about that, and week one hasn't even really started. But this is one of those games where if you're going to win a Heisman, you need to play and go out there and pad your stats a little bit. Ideally, you don't want either one of these guys on the field, when the fourth quarter begins in a game like this. I'm not saying that they're going to like completely thrash North Dakota State, but it should be comfortable enough where they can go ahead and start rotating some guys and get those guys out of there and let them get their numbers. So we'll see. All right, and as I do a little tap dancing here right now for Chris's pick, I'm creating the graphic as we speak, live producing on the fly here. You're going to go with Chris's pick. Since he was not here, he forfeits his pick to us. Now, I was saying that we should just give him nothing, and he just skips because his record's going to be terrible anyway. You were more benevolent than me and figured that you would go with one of the biggest spreads that you saw. So what game do you have for Chris?
Well, yeah, so Chris is a UVA fan, so he's a fan of just terrible football teams that never win. So I figured I would find the biggest underdog of the Thursday, Friday matchups and go with them. And that is Arkansas Pine Bluff. They are 48.5-point underdogs at Arkansas. Pretty crazy, 48.5, and the over-under is only 57.5. That's wild. But, yeah, let's give Chris a pick. Let him bet on some terrible teams like he loves to do. Arkansas Pine Bluff plus 48.5.
Arkansas Pine Bluff, by the way, Scotty, of course, from Pine Bluff, Arkansas. They are a HBCU, and their nickname is the Golden Lions. We were talking about this before the show, and I was asking, do you know what their nickname is? And I tossed out, I think they're the Golden Lions. I have a problem because I knew that, and that's correct. They're the Golden Lions. And also, Scotty, they were about one of 180 schools that were, quote, normal schools. Remember we talked about this last week?
Yeah.
Yeah, normal schools. They were normal schools. They were a teacher college, an institution, according to Wikipedia, originally created to train teachers by educating them in the norms of pedagogy. I don't know, pedagogy. That sounds like something you go to jail for.
Yeah.
And curriculum. What is pedagogy? I'm going to look that up. It's a commonly understood as the approach to teaching. Okay, so it's like communications.
Yeah.
You ever studied communications in college? The people that are your professors are communications professors because they never worked one goddamn day in a TV station or a radio station. That's why it was useless, and I got thrown out of the class once because I told the professor that I've worked in radio longer than she did. But that's a story for another day. But yes, yeah, I don't know anything about Pine Bluff. I'm sure the people there are very nice. But you got Chris with the 48.5 on the Golden Line? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. I think
let's not ask how they got the Golden and Golden Lions. Let's not ask what that's about.
I think I'm going to go with the under if I had to make a bet. I might toss this on my card. Bama Boy.
I'm not sure if we know this person, but hello, Roll Tide.
Hey, I'm surprised a Bama person can read, and we really
Weird.
No, I kid. a kid, Bama boy. We appreciate you watching, sir. But yeah, Arkansas minus the 48.5. I'm going to put this on my card. It's not my official pick for this week, but I'm going under 57.5. I mean, that's Arkansas probably going to score, what, 2 points, 3, 4, maybe?
Well, according to this, can we do the math real quick? What was it?
Yeah.
50 to...
It's 9.
So they think they're going to score 9? No. 54? I don't know.
48.
I think on the spot.
48 plus 9 is 57. So 48.5 plus 9 is 57.5.
Yeah, but they're going to win by 48.5 points.
Yeah.
That's what they're saying.
Yeah, it's what they're saying.
So it's like 53, 54 points. And so, yeah, they think Pine Bluff's going to get a field goal.
I will tell you this. What I've learned about Arkansas is they're going back to Razorback football. Big boys, offensive line, they want to pound the rock. By the way, I love Sam Pittman, their head coach. He's one of my favorite people in the entire world. I really just want to drink some beers with him.
I believe I'm going to have me old cold beer. That's kind of what I like to do, you know. I believe I'm going to have me old cold beer. That's kind of what I like to do.
You gotta stop it.
Yeah, well, you know, right. I just wanted it was so nice. I wanted to play it twice. So, Coach, I love you.
Bama boy has more of an understanding on what. How do you say that word?
Is a method of
teaching of children. That makes the pedo part make more sense. Thank you.
Okay. Well, I was comparing it to communications. Those that can't do, teach. You know, in that field, I feel like you're going to teach teaching because you can't actually teach, even though that doesn't make sense. But if you're going to teach communications, you've never been on the air. Okay, listen, albeit you can't take it from me. I used to be on the air, and now I'm on a bad podcast looking at you, Scotty. So who knows? You know,
just a couple college dropouts making fun of teachers. Let's go.
Yes, David boy, I like you, sir. You're good people there. All right, so yeah, I'm going to go with the under on this one here. Now, what's on my card as I navigate over here? I was kind of vacillating back and forth between a couple different games here. It pains me to pick this one, so I'm hoping I got the reverse mojo going. North Carolina at Minnesota.
What?
Heels -2 on the road in the Twin Cities there. In Minneapolis, taking on the Golden Gophers. Over under is 50.5. Scotty, there's some weird stuff with this game. Let me fill you in case you don't know. So Minnesota has a new defensive coordinator. Okay, no big deal. A lot of teams have new defensive coordinators. So PJ Fleck used that, the Minnesota head coach, as one of the reasons to not have a spring game. And he's kind of never really had a spring game in his tenure at Minnesota. 1 year COVID interrupted things. They've always kind of had like some weird practice things, kind of like Bronco Mendenhall did at Virginia, where they really didn't have a traditional spring game.
Well, you don't want to follow that guy.
You don't want to go down that route. So they decided to not have a spring game, and he said because of the coaching staff changes, also because of given, you know, NIL and the transfer portal and the changing landscape, they just didn't have a spring game. Okay, great, no problem. North Carolina, in their weird North Korean secretiveness, discovered that Minnesota doesn't have a spring game. So they decided to not have a spring game. They had open practice. But you remember the ACC went around and showed like everyone's spring game, like on the ACC network or digital network. North Carolina's was not televised, nor did they keep stats in this game. So this is espionage round. Like this is like, okay, I'm not going to share with you. It's almost like Remember the Titans when the coach wouldn't exchange the footage with Coach Boone.
Yeah,
it's almost like that right now. So then Darius Taylor, Minnesota's star running back, he's on the Maxwell watch list. He's a little nicked up right now. He's got a leg injury. He may or may not be in the lineup tomorrow at Huntington Bank Stadium for the Gophers. We don't know yet. North Carolina has a quarterback competition between Max Johnson, former LSU Tiger, former Texas A&M Aggie, and the guy Criswell. I forget his first name.
Connor Harrell?
No, it's Criswell. So
you sure?
Yeah, I'm like 98% sure.
Okay.
So they have, you can look it up and check me, but so they have a competition. they haven't really said who's going to start this game. It looks like all intents and purposes is going to be Max Johnson, but they're playing it close to the chest because Minnesota's playing it close to the chest with the running back. Meanwhile, you got two coaches who this is a pivotal year for both of them. PJ Fleck started off with a lot of pizzazz and bang, a lot of optimism in Minneapolis, but things have kind of mellowed out and dropped off since then. And Mac Brown came back, was supposed to be the savior again for Carolina football. Things haven't necessarily gone to plan there. And last time out, we saw them in the regular season, they just looked unprepared and got walked all over by NC State in Raleigh. So these are big years for both guys here because both those seats may be starting to get a little hotter. It's so weird. But going on my pick on this, as much as it pains me as the NC State fan, I know, unfortunately, I have a Carolina-looking blue shirt on. I'm going to go with the Heels, -2. I think Minnesota has a lot of questions. Their quarterback is a transfer from New Hampshire. He led the FCS in passing yards per game, but it's a lot different playing for the New Hampshire Wildcats than playing in the Big Ten or playing an ACC team. So we'll see how he handles the step up in competition. And Carolina has one of the best backs in the league, maybe in the country, in Amari and Hampton. This guy carried, I wish I had my stats in front of me. He carried like 223 times last year. He was averaging like 5.9 yards a carry. He had 15 touchdowns on the ground. I mean, he's a bowling ball and a workhorse. And I don't know why, but Carolina is kind of like NC State. You get the best from them in football when you expect the least. And no one's talking about the Heels right now. And, you had Sam Howell come through and leave, and he's in the NFL. Same thing with Drake May. He's in the league with the Patriots now. No one's talking about them. And that's what scares me about them. I feel like they might be a more complete team. And instead of trying to force some throws and get some stats for the star quarterback, they're going to go bread and butter and run the ball a little bit, which will help their defense, which need to be overhauled. It scares me to say that because I don't like them. But I'm going to take Carolina -2 against the Gophers.
Wow. I actually like Minnesota at home. But you know more about UNC than I do, so hatefully. But yeah, so Jacoby Criswell is
Jacoby, that's what it is.
a senior, but I thought I read that it was a competition between Max Johnson and Connor Harrell.
No. Jacoby Criswell.
Or maybe I think they're playing both of them. Maybe Harrell's going to be like the running quarterback or something. I don't know.
I think Criswell has some legs too. I think you'll see them mixing. Mac has gone to the 2 quarterback system before. We've seen him do it at Texas, in Carolina, and like it was the mid '90s. I forget the guys, but then of course in '97, one of the greatest Tar Heel teams ever. They had here's 2 names for you: Chris Keldorf and Oscar Davenport. Those names are seared into my brain because of my hatred for them. But he ran a 2 quarterback system with those guys too. So it wouldn't surprise me to see Mac rotate these guys and kind of figure out which one works the best. But I think Max Johnson, he's been in college since college was invented. I think he's probably going to end up getting the lion's share there. And I just have too many questions about Minnesota, and I don't think they're going to have that big of a home field advantage there either. You usually want to give a team 3 points for being at home. So yeah, if you take that away, then you're looking at Carolina -5. I think the Heels probably win by a touchdown here.
See, I think the home field advantage this first week, anyways, it's going to be a little more because I don't know if you saw the Georgia Tech game. Like there wasn't a whole lot of crowd noise because it was a
neutral site,
neutral field. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, on another goddamn continent.
Yeah, but they have the new where the coach talks to the quarterback in their headset now, and he could barely hear, and like the crowd wasn't even that loud. So when you get into these real home field advantages, I know Minnesota isn't the best, but it's going to be probably louder than it was there. I think that first week is really going to throw some challenges to these teams until they figure out they might have to go back to doing the stupid little boards with the risk getting their sign stolen in some situations. Yeah, I think it's going to be a filling out process for what teams want to do on the road.
Yeah. You mentioned. I'm glad you mentioned that because we did see that last week, and one of the games that we'll talk about a little bit later on. Miami going to Gainesville to take on Florida, and you have new quarterback Cam Ward, and I mean, let's face it, Florida's been down the last couple of years. Billy Napier, one of those coaches, is on the hot seat. But Ben Hill Griffin Stadium is a place that is loud. It's one of the most intimidating places in college football. And when you have all those Florida fans in their jorts, all liquored up, ready to sing some Tom Petty, that's a pretty loud environment there. So, that could present some problems for teams, and especially teams that want to maybe go a little bit faster and stuff. I know I was watching the press conference with NC State head coach Dave Doran, and they asked him about that. And he's more excited about one of the other changes is having the iPads or tablets. I guess you can't say iPad, whatever, but a tablet on the sideline. So now they can get that real time. Hey, what did you see on this throw? Or, did you see this check or whatever? And you can correct that in real time. So a couple new technological innovations, but I am going to miss as some of these teams move away from the big boards. I want to see SpongeBob and Sydney Sweeney and Barack Obama.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck does that play mean? That's what I want to see.
Yeah, I'd like to see Sydney Sweeney. I wouldn't mind that.
Hey,
maybe just have a card of her out there just for no reason.
Hey, I'm currently watching the Creators Classic right now on ESPN Plus with the golf influencers playing, and Paige Spironic is out there. And as Matt Pittman from Meat Church Barbecue would say, I ain't mad at that. At that.
Yeah, I like how you go from Sydney Sweeney to transition to Paige Spironic for no reason.
Hey, we have a type, ladies and gentlemen. We have a type. All right, so those are our picks there. We'll put those together on the graphic. We'll parlay those a little bit later. And you know what, Scotty? I might as well go ahead and let the cat out of the bag. So this show is once a week. We usually do it on Thursday, but we're doing today Wednesday because football tomorrow, NC State plays. But we're going to have a new show that we're going to do Saturday mornings. So we're going to give our NFL and most importantly, our college football bets then. And we're going to call it, I wish I had the graphic in front of me. This is bad producing. Doing lines. We're going to be doing some lines on Saturday morning. So we'll get into that Miami and Florida game. We'll get into everything else. A&M taking on, A&M and
crap. It's one of my picks, I think, possibly.
Oh, God.
Maybe.
It just went out of my head. A&M and Notre Dame. A&M and Notre Dame.
Yeah. Yep.
Because Mike Elko getting to face his old quarterback. There, Riley Leonard, quarterback in the Irish, and Mike Elko now leading the Aggies, which apparently is only the second time ever. I believe I saw somewhere today where a quarterback has faced his head coach, and both are on another team in the next season. Apparently, the other one was last year with Scott Satterfield in Louisville, and Scott Satterfield at Cincinnati facing off against whoever the quarterback was in Louisville the year before that. So that's kind of weird, but
Yeah, we'll be seeing that more often, I think, now.
Oh yeah, that's just will be the norm. So, doing lines coming at you Saturday morning. I believe we said 9 a.m. Saturday mornings.
Is that what we said? Yeah, why did we say that? All
well,
right.
I'm up with it. This is going to cut into my Premier League gambling and watching. So you people better be thankful and give us a like and subscribe and all that good stuff and follow because it's going to cut into my Premier League. And
you might miss one goal. Oh no!
Hey, no one bets over unders on corners in the Premier League like me. I am the corner master, sir. I'm good on Premier League props. So
corner master, okay. Going on your gravestone.
Yeah, that sounds like something you go to jail for in Kentucky, being a corner master. But yeah, so we'll come at you and we'll do some lines together on Saturday morning, and of course we'll react to the games that we see on Thursday and Friday. And hopefully my pick is wrong and Carolina loses, and I can be very happy about that. So it's one of those things when you bet against your rival. That either way you're happy because if your bet hits, you're happy, and if it loses, you're happy. So
I bet for the Yankees like all the time because of that.
There we go. Okay, so we got that going for us. Transitioning away from some other stuff here, I wanted to get to. We were just talking about soccer a second ago, and Scotty, I know you're not a big soccer guy,
Except for the Caledonian Braves.
Thank
Sure.
you.
Oh,
Which
still
we,
undefeated.
Since we have acquired ownership in the mighty Caledonian Braves, they are undefeated. We do need to get over to jolly old Scotland to take a look at that. So, if someone wants to sponsor that trip, please let us know.
Maybe we'll reach out to them.
Yeah, we will send Sky to your house to do some things that we don't need to talk about on this show in return for airfare over there.
Yeah, man.
Hey, sponsorship dollars are hard to come by these days. You got to do what you got to do. But so I'm not going to pretend to know the name of this team. It's in the 6th tier of English soccer. Their manager was giving a interview. If I can pull this up here. There we go. It was Dorking, actually, was the name of the team. Dorking and their manager, Mark White. Can you see my screen, Scotty?
Yes.
Okay. So Mark White giving an interview, manager of Dorking, and here's what he had to say.
City. At one point, I thought this interview might be slightly different. Sum that up, especially the second half.
Well, first of all, I fucking loved giving it to them.
You got the Ethernet hooked up?
Yes, I do have
signal there.
Hooked up.
City. At one point, I thought this interview might be slightly different. Sum that up, especially the second half.
Well, first of all, I fucking loved giving it to them St Albans fans, singing all their.
It's you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and blame X. This is Elon's fault.
Elon, yeah.
Yeah.
Elon messing everything up.
Fix this shit, Elon. I should have downloaded it.
Fucking sexually offensive songs like a bunch of dickheads, and I love fuck.
Okay, it's.
I think it's the F word. It keeps skipping on the F word.
It's fucking up, man. But I digress. Anyway, he essentially said he was shitting on the opposing fan base, shitting on their chants, just crapping all over them. It's refreshing. If you get a chance, just Google Dorking manager interview England. He let off another weird interview like a year ago that was really great. But you get a chance, pull that up, take a look. Scotty, it's refreshing. How many times in America did we see like coach speak interviews?
Yeah.
Every press conference this week. College coach, oh yeah, they're a really good team. They're well coached. They're disciplined, and you're going to beat this team 67-0. On Saturday. They're not good. They're not well coached. They're terrible. But they all say that. I appreciate them. Just being a guy.
Yeah. So go search Dorking if you want to see that, and if you search Dork King, you'll get a picture of Chris.
What is? You know what? I'm going to pull myself back from that joke I was going to make there. Thank you. This self-censorship brought to you by wanting to have a show. All right. So I apologize for the technical difficulties there. I will scream at my internet provider about that. But check that out. Then Chris, NASCAR making its way out of Richmond. Are you a big NASCAR? I just called you Chris, and I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
NASCAR
guy? When I was younger, I kind of was, but not really. Every now and then I'll bet on it and I'll watch it, but not really.
Okay.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I get why people like it, but I don't know. It just doesn't really interest me like it used to.
I used to like it. Doesn't tickle the fancy as much. You sent me in our show group chat the other day a picture. I think it was a 92 Hooters, like 500 or whatever it was.
Justin said that.
Yeah, Alan Kowicki winning the championship there. That beautiful Hooters car before they, are currently being sued by Hendrick Motorsports for not paying their bills. But I digress. But yeah, I used to be really into it then. But I've never been to a race in Richmond. I don't know why. Just never. It's our home track. It's never gone there. But apparently we're losing a race, Scotty. The Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez is going to host the inaugural NASCAR race Sunday, June 15th in Mexico City on Amazon Prime Video. They're going to stream the race there. So Richmond losing one of the races. Apparently the NASCAR schedule coming out tomorrow, but Richmond apparently losing a race going to Mexico City.
Taking our jobs. Why do we need two races there? No, seriously, why does Richmond need two races?
It doesn't. It really doesn't. And just keep the spring race. The fall race, listen, this is Virginia. We care about college football. That race always ends up on like a Saturday when Virginia or Virginia Tech is at home, or hey, ODU, it's a decent fan base. JMU, people love their team. It doesn't get as much pub, and then football is going on all around it. Keep the spring race for us, move the schedule around, get rid of the other, whatever you want to do. But I'm actually kind of excited to see NASCAR in Mexico City. That's going to bring around all sorts of logistical issues out of that. Imagine getting those haulers across the border with the cars, and like you probably really got to check those haulers coming back. I'm sure some guys will be bringing some stuff back. Or
It'll be a fun crowd for sure.
Oh, will they have jorts and wife beaters in Mexico?
You've made 2 jort references. What is going on?
Well, Florida fans are NASCAR fans, so but instead of drinking, this lovely Coors Original that I'm about to crack into here, do you think that people are going to be just drinking straight tequila in the crowd there? Mezcal, maybe?
Do they serve liquor at NASCAR races?
In Mexico, all bets are off. I'm sure there's going to be like a donkey pulling a cart around with just loaded to the bear with beer. If Kyle Busch wins, you're going to see like Tecate cans just come flying down. It's going to be crazy. I'm actually really excited. Maybe.
Yeah, I might actually watch that one. Do you want to go? Is that what you just said?
Should we go?
I don't know, man. Are the proper precautions going to be taken?
No. If you're going to Mexico with
maybe year 2.
Now, if you look, I'll scout it out. I'll be in Mexico early next year anyway. Maybe I make a stopover in Mexico City and scout it out. But if you're going to Mexico with me, someone's going to jail or someone's going to the grave. 1 to 2. More than likely, it's going to be me for both. So
I'm gonna have an escape plan wherever I go.
Yeah. Well, would you have an escape plan for this? Also in Mexico, did you know that there was a Six Flags Mexico?
Nope.
I did not either. Have you ever been to a Six Flags?
Nope.
Yeah, I've never been. My family was poor. We didn't go to that. We went to Kings Dominion once a year. That was my amusement park.
Yeah, we would go to Kings Dominion or whatever once every 2 or 3 years. I'm not good with heights anyways, so it was never my cup of tea to begin with.
Yeah.
Never been to a Six Flags.
Well, apparently there's one in Mexico, and a ride was shut down in the middle of a storm at Six Flags Mexico, leaving people aboard 243 feet in the air for about 10 minutes. There was a ride called the Sky Screamer, also known as the Supergirl Sky Flight Ride, which that sounds like something. I'm gonna pull that joke back too. I'm gonna pull that one back too. But
I'm sure those things have happened on that ride for that reason.
Yes. But yeah, the riders were stuck 243 feet above ground. Didn't we all watch what movie was it?
Just Don't Go Paranormal Activity.
No, it wasn't even that. It was another one. It was like, just don't go skydiving in Mexico. They just don't have the regulations. What was that?
What was that? Wedding Crashers.
Yes, it was Wedding Crashers. Yeah. Haven't we learned anything from Owen Wilson and Wedding Crashers? There's no reason to get on amusement park rides in Mexico. It's a great place. You'll drink as much as you want. Booze is plentiful, but I'm not getting on amusement park rides, especially 243 feet up in Mexico.
So I actually went one time and was like, and try to conquer my fear and all that. When I went to get on the Anaconda at Kings Dominion, it was broken down. It broke down while we were in line. So I'm like, that's not helping at all. Second ride, Shockwave. I was in line. People were coming off saying, the guy in front of me passed out. Awesome. I got out of line. I'm like, you guys are not helping. But yeah, I've ridden a handful of roller coasters, but not my cup of tea.
No, it's never been. Bama Boy says Mexico is awesome and safe. Just stay out of the gang areas, just like the States. Well, you are correct there.
I'm sure it's fine.
where I am going, I don't think I'm going to be fully engrossed in the gang areas, which
You're not coming back. You're not
no,
coming back.
no. I just need to figure out like which cartel to like side with while I'm there. I just gotta scout the area, you know.
Yeah, before you go, you got to show me how to do all the graphics and all that, because I'm just gonna pretend that you're not coming back. You're not.
Yeah,
Coming back.
well, you can just do what I did this week and just do nothing because I actually had to do work for once at my actual job. But yeah, I'll give you all the passwords. I'll show you how to do everything.
No.
You know what? I'll give you access to my 401k because I probably won't need it.
Hey, I made my first graphic last week.
There we go. Yes,
I couldn't get it. I couldn't really get it the way I wanted it to, but I'll work on it.
There we go. And one more thing to work on here, Scotty. Listen, I know I'm a fat bastard, and
You said it.
oh, you know, I'm going to be real. I'm going to be honest, and I know America's full of fat bastards as well. But is there anything more apropos than this story I saw that a bald eagle that they thought was hurt, and apparently it was in Missouri, a bald eagle that they thought was hurt, was not injured. The wing was not injured. It was just too fat to fly. Is there anything more American than our country's national bird, a symbol of American freedom, American exceptionalism, being too fat to fly?
Very fitting. So, would you say he has obesity?
Jesus Christ. You know what? I think I actually did put a boo in here, and I just needed. Thank you. That was awful.
That's a great joke.
That was terrible.
That's a great joke.
But yes, bald eagle too fat to fly. It was at the what was it? The Dickerson. Was it Ryan's house?
Maybe.
The Dickerson Park Zoo. We haven't seen Ryan in many months.
Maybe he's fighting. Maybe he's catching eagles now.
Yes.
That's what he's doing.
But the bird had been eating a little too much. It was found to be healthy, but engorged with raccoons. I didn't know eagle could eat raccoon.
Well,
Nature is crazy, man.
That would explain why he's so big.
Could you imagine? Like, is it picking off baby raccoons? Did it fight a full-size raccoon? I picture like a raccoon coming out of a trash can, right? You know, we've also that meme of the raccoon is like coming out of the dumpster and he just looks all haggard. He comes out of there and he's got some, 3-week-old steakums from the Food Lion there in Missouri, because that's probably where they shop in Missouri is Food Lion, because Missouri.
This fucking guy.
This is what TSA is going to tell you.
TSA is going to tell.
Fuck you, Chris.
Nice of you to join in.
Yeah, really nice to the comment on the show that you're supposed to be hosting instead of hosting. But yeah, this raccoon just has 4-week-old steakum that he's eating, and all of a sudden he just gets scooped up by an eagle.
Also, well, I imagine once you get a taste of raccoon, you probably can't stop.
Is that the slogan? It's like once you go black, come back or whatever. Once Pringles, once you have one, you can't stop. Whatever. Once you have raccoon, you can't go back.
Chris is using this as the group chat now.
Yes, thank you, Chris.
Chris, did you see your pick and did you like my obesity joke?
Just to have them join in rather than comment from there.
I know.
Yes, so a raccoon the eagle too fat to fly. Does this bode well or not for the Philadelphia Eagles? Because clearly the raccoon was successful because he was fat, so he was eating good. So is this like the Eagles going to have a good season? Are they going to get fat on their opponents? Or will they fatten up on the weak part of their schedule and then not be able to soar to the playoffs? Is this eagle a sign from the
I think it's a bad omen because it's kind of pathetic. He can't fly. That's what Eagles do. Eagles fly. You can't even fly.
For Florida State this week when they play Boston College as well. All Eagle teams are on notice right now because of this fat eagle. I wonder, did they put him in rehab or anything? How do you put an eagle on a diet?
Well, he can't fly, so it's not like he's getting away from you.
So yeah, I mean, do you put him on a little eagle treadmill and make him walk or something? What do you do?
I think it'd be more of a hamster wheel, probably. Just a bigger one.
You just put like a rubber band around him so he can't fly away. You just put him on the hamster wheel.
You just play. You just put him in a room and you play the national anthem over and over again.
Rocky theme song. You just go Rocky theme song.
Yeah, Philly. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, fat ass eagle. All right. And on that unfortunate note, we'll get the hell out of here. Remember to check us out on Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, Rumble, X, Instagram, all that stuff. But most importantly, Facebook. Most importantly, YouTube. Like, follow, subscribe. We need money so we can make that trip to Mexico so the cartel can harvest our organs.
Yes, sir.
All right, Scotty, hit that music. Get us on up out of here. Remember, Saturday morning, 9 a.m., Saturday morning debut, brand new show. We're going to be doing lines right here on the Let's Not Do This podcast. Get your college football picks. We'll go over games. We'll see what we can do, win some money. We're going to be millionaires this year.
Yep, see y'all Saturday.
Peace. Chris, your boss called me. Says you're fired.